Okay, so in this video I want to talk to you about basic management tactics. So we're going to talk about 5 basic management tactics. So we'll start over here. The first one being technology technology-based programs. And with technology-based programs, it's kind of in the title here. Your focus is on using technology to your advantage in management. I just created a new word, advantagement. So using technology-based programs to your advantage in management. So some of the examples we can give are smoke alarm requirements, uh, because these um, are always on duty and can help fire prevention. Seatbelt monitoring systems. Seatbelt monitoring systems because it's hard for managers to tell whether all of their members are always uh, uh, seated and um, belted before responding to a call. So a lot of fire departments will use seatbelt monitoring systems to make sure that firefighters are complying with this requirement. And then another example of technology based would be black boxes. So black boxes, um, some fire departments have installed uh, black boxes to monitor the driving practices of drivers responding to emergencies, to make sure that even though you're responding to an emergency, you're um, staying within the standards. All right, so after technology based, I want to talk about total quality management. Now, with total quality management, this tactic was created under the assumption that all customers want to buy products that are of high quality. Uh, this originated in the auto industry in Japan, and so it is maybe a little less relevant to FES organizations because there's less competition when it comes to providing these services, and you don't have production lines, you're not making widgets. But the idea here is to observe and constantly improve every aspect of the organization. To look at all of the steps that are being taken and to use practices to constantly be improving every step of the process. That's why it's total quality management. It may sound, as it does to me, it sounds like micromanagement. Like you're taking everything down to the micro level and you're managing every single step of the process to ensure that things are being done properly. Let's say number 3. Number 3 is leading by example. So with leading by example, it is exactly what it sounds. Managers use this as a powerful tactic to set a standard in the organization and to help create a culture of complying with the standards of the organization. If you've had a boss in the past, as I have, that didn't practice what they preached, it's hard for them to be credible in front of their workers. It's hard for them um, uh, to have workers that want to believe in the message if you're not also believing in the message. So, for example, always buckling your seatbelt in response to an emergency, just like you would expect all of your employees to do so, leading by example. And some of the qualities of people that lead by example would include striving to be honest and fair and consistent. It's good for someone leading by example to do these things, along with being competent to set the standard, to make sure that they are practicing what they preach. So leading by example. Now I'm going to clear my screen here so we can get to the next one. So number 4. So this involves empowering low-level supervisors. And this is less relevant to FES organizations, which require a lot of direct supervision and adherence to rules and regulations for efficiency and consistency in overall emergency response. So a lot of private companies will empower their low-level supervisors to be creative, to find new ways to problem solve, to use their own judgment, and it empowers your employees, which makes them feel good. But when you're working in FES, broad-based empowerment can undermine the consistency and uniformity that you need when responding to emergencies. So this is less relevant to FES organizations, though it is sometimes appropriate for things that need employee buy-in. So when you're making decisions that need employee buy-in, it is good to empower your employees to help make these decisions. So things that are in your collective bargaining agreement, things that you might want to bring the union in to represent the workers to make decisions. This might involve training requirements or equipment requirements. Scheduling requirements, things that involve employee buy-in, that the employees have to be on board with it, or it's not going to work out. Those kinds of things you can empower your lower level workers to make decisions. But for the most part, this is more of a private sector non-emergency response kind of management tactic. So lastly, we've got let's see, I'm just going to rewrite that. Okay. So then there's also this thing called managing by walking around, which sounds kind of silly, but this would involve visiting This would involve visiting all departments, and the idea here is that your manager gets out of their own office and physically visits other areas, and this allows them to speak to personnel about the issues that they're having and make observations and actually maintain some connection with all of the departments and the employees working in those departments and keeps them in touch with the day-to-day issues that they're going to have to manage. So those are 5 management tactics